let's go ahead and get started. So if you haven't already, gather up your goodies. And we are going to start in the same heart opener. So those of you that want to take it further with 2 blocks that you might have at home and do the supported fish with the one yoga block in your upper spine and the other one supporting the back of the head so you're really open, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, a blanket rolled up or a nice big towel rolled up would do the trick. So starting with a longer rectangular fold in your blanket and then rolling it on up. So we have our roll here. So good morning to everyone that just chimed in. We're just chatting a bit. So I'm really happy to have you here this morning. I hope everyone's doing great, and just a continued thank you for joining me and all of your patience in this and coming together to share some yoga. So, so the roll, if you're using the roll, when we lie down on it, will hit you right at the tips of the shoulder blades because we want the actual shoulder to roll over the blanket back to the ground so that the shoulders and the elbows, maybe the backs of the hands will bend at the elbows so we're in our cactus arms, also touch the ground. If you notice that one hand or both hands don't easily flop to the floor, generally that just means tightness through the front of the body and chest. So over time, gravity can traction you out a little bit. But as usual, make your adjustments with your body and your practice. And then once we get the upper half of our body situated, I'll give you some options here for the legs. So shoulders, arms, and head to the ground over the roll. Lengthen out your low back. If you have a tender low back, you're more than welcome to keep your knees bent up. The toes can be slightly turned in. You bring the knees together. Tucking a pillow behind the knees will help support the legs. Talking about those hips, if you want to add your hip opener, draw the soles of the feet to touch. Allow the knees to open in Baddha Konasana. Or simply stretch those legs out into Shavasana. And then as we're getting comfortable here, remember to loosen up your clothing. If you have ponytails, move them out of the way so the center of the skull can find the ground. We'll close our eyes and let's all take a slow, deep breath in through the nose here. And then exhale back out through the nose, and on this exhale, start to feel the weight of the body relax to the ground. Let's do that one more time. Just inhale, fill yourself up. And then exhale, feel any tension and tightness leave the body. And let's start to make a connection with our body here by mentally scanning ourselves from the very top of the head all the way down to our fingertips and toes. Purposely relaxing the muscles, especially all the little muscles across the face, around the eyes. Wiggle out the mouth, tongue, and jaw. Notice again the weight of the shoulders, elbows, and backs of the hands sinking towards the ground. And hopefully this pose feels nice as it counters all the forward folding we do. It helps us take these fuller breaths and just opens us across the heart. So you'll feel that stretch through the front of the chest here. Soften the belly. Relax down the back. And also again, feel the weight of the legs just sinking towards the ground. The hips, the knees, the ankles, feet, and toes. Also taking inventory of any areas that maybe feel a little tender this morning. I woke up the other day, for whatever reason, my neck was feeling a little stiff. So every day is a new day and you just kind of check in. And we make these observations without labeling any of it good or bad. Just observe. Continue to let the whole body relax. And we'll now spread our awareness to the breath. Simply observe and watch the body inhale and exhale. We're breathing as smoothly and evenly as possible in and out through the nose. We observe any subtle movements, natural sounds that the breath might be making. Remembering that our breath is our guide in our practice, and it is also a bridge between the mind and body. And now let's focus this breath a little bit deeper around the belly. Start concentrating around the abdominal muscles. Practicing a few rounds of our belly breathing or diaphragmic breathing. On the next inhale, relax the belly completely. Allow it to stretch and expand like a balloon. On the exhale, gently contract those abdominal muscles, drawing the belly back in towards the body. Inhale, we relax the belly, let it expand and rise. And the exhale, contract those abdominal muscles, drawing the navel towards the spine. And we'll each breathe at a comfortable rhythm. And we're trying to keep our exhale and inhale equal in length. And over time, as we improve our lung capacity, we can stretch that breath out, so making the inhales a little bit longer, trying to take in a little bit more air, and then exhaling a little bit longer, really trying to clean all that stale old air and energy out of the body. And let's all try to cycle through one more round of belly breathing. Let this breath be our biggest breath yet. On that next inhale, we'll fill ourselves up from the bottom to the top so the abdomen can expand, feeling that stretch across the chest, filling all the way to the brim in the throat. And on our next exhale, taking the time to breathe all the way back out. Emptying, emptying, emptying every last drop from the top all the way down to the bottom. Squeeze the breath out. And once we've exhaled completely, let's go ahead and release any control of the breath for a moment. Just let it go wherever it wants. Start to come back into the physical body here. And just notice the body relaxed on the floor for a moment. And then we'll give our toes and fingers a little wiggle, a little rock of the head. If our knees are open to Baddha Konasana, float your knees up. Let's all stretch our legs out into Shavasana. And then slide your arms overhead, going into our long body stretch. So you're stretching out as long as you can in your space. Point and flex those feet a couple times. You'll feel this stretch even through the waist and the rib cage, the shoulders. Flex both feet, spread the toes. Let's give our right side a little bit longer of a stretch. Left side a little bit longer. And then one more big breath in. Stretch everything out equally, front to back, side to side. On the exhale, step your feet in. Float your knees up, and we'll go ahead and roll over to our right side, bringing the left hand down to the ground in front of the heart. And then we'll push down. And just like we've been doing, we'll continue with the same warm up here. So we'll slide our props out from underneath us, and then we'll lie right back down on the ground and start warming and working with the whole body. So you'll come back down onto your mat. Those of you that have yoga blocks, you can grab one of your yoga blocks, or a thicker cushion or pillow would also work. So we'll realign and readjust. Walk the feet in towards your sit bones. A few inches between the insides of the feet and the knees, placing your prop between your inner thighs. Draw your shoulder blades under and bringing those arms down beside the body. So you have a nice firm foundation through the arms and the soles of the feet. Your head should be in a nice neutral position. On the inhale, engage your glutes, squeeze the backside, and start to float your hips up. So we'll go through our flowing bridge pose. On the exhale, you'll lower your hips back down. On the inhale, fire up those muscles on the backside. So you can stretch the front of the hips and the front, and on your exhales, you'll lower down. And again, let your breath guide you. When we rise up, we want that weight to shift to the meaty part of the shoulders, not the neck. The chest can move towards the chin, but avoid tucking the chin towards the chest. If we want to add our shoulder massage, on the inhale, squeeze, lift your hips up, float your arms up and all the way overhead. On the exhale to lower down, your arms float up and back down beside you. And that should feel nice for those upper back muscles, a place where a lot of us hold some tension and tightness. And let's all flow through one more, whatever variation you're taking today. We'll meet on the exhale, take the prop out, and draw the low belly in to hug your knees in, rocking side to side for a little massage across the low back. From here, extend the legs up towards the ceiling in our waterfall pose. Massage and rub up and down the backs of those thighs. So my hamstrings are really tight, so my knees are quite bent this morning. It takes me a while, maybe by the end of the day, but we're gonna try to let those muscles just lengthen, point flex your feet. We're in our gentle inversion as well. Now hold on to the meaty part of the backs of the thighs, and let's all try to press our thigh bones forward into our hands as we flex the feet, pulling the toes towards the shins and the heels pressing up. Now I do want you to start pulling into that low belly. You want to have your spine nice neutral. And we're going to try to hold this pose without the help of our arms. So this is definitely going to work our core a little bit more. So we'll bring our arms down beside us to the floor, holding our legs in this position, using these deeper, stronger muscles. Now from here, option to slide your hands underneath the lower buttock so that the low back has a little bit of a well to sink back down towards the ground. We'll go through a few rounds of our yogi sit-ups. So point through the toes. On your inhale, start to lower your right leg away from the body. Any degree that's comfortable for your low back. We want to avoid the low back hyperextending from the floor. Exhale, very slowly pull that leg back up. Inhale, lower your left leg, ideally to the same degree you just did on the first side. And your exhale slowly brings the leg back to vertical. So again, move with your breath and only lower the leg to the degree you can control with those lower abdominal muscles. The other trick is to keep the face relaxed. So put a little smile on your face as we build up the heat in our belly. Try not to use your jaw to do this work. Nice, powerful exhales. We'll try one more with each leg. So you'll do one more to your right side and one more to your left. And then take a quick break, bend your knees in, relax the belly, rock over your low back, give it a quick break. We are going to do one more round today. So re-extend the legs up to the ceiling in waterfall pose. Let me show you a modification too. So one modification is to bend your knees to 90 degrees, shins parallel to the floor. You don't change the angle at the knee, you lower from the hip to touch one toe down at a time. So that's a modification instead of the straight legs. Or if we want to turn up the volume a little bit, you'll glue both legs together now, so zip them up. And on the inhale, you'll lower both legs together. Now you might not be able to go as far in the double leg sit-ups because it's a heavier weight for your low back to take. So you just have to modify, or maybe you try one or two with the legs together and then you go back to your singles. So easy adjustments here. So a great pose to tone and strengthen those deep, strong abdominal muscles. This is a good pose for our digestive system as well. And it's said to help improve our metabolism. So let's all do two more. One more with each leg or two more doubles. Slow, controlled movement. And after you're finished, again, just drop those knees in, hug them in towards the body. So one more supine pose here. Let's re-extend the knees or the legs up and open them up into our wide angle stretch to get into those inner thigh muscles. Roll your ankles a few times. Support the weight of the legs from the outside. Or a deeper stretch, move your hands to the inside to give a little massage up and down those inner thighs. And the more you flex your feet and press your heels up, the more that will intensify the stretch of the backs of the legs. One more big breath in. Exhale, squeeze those legs back up to waterfall pose. Bend the knees. Bring your right arm beside the head and let's roll to our right side and just pause for a moment. Let our blood pressure take a moment to regulate here from being in our inversion. Bring the left hand to the floor. You can turn the heart towards the floor and we'll bring ourselves up. I got a little crawly friend visiting me. Don't come this way. Go the other way. So we're going to be in our seated position. And so prop your sit bones up. If you want to sit up on something, at this point, you're always welcome to sit up on an edge of a chair or your sofa. And let's start to warm the upper half of the body. He's trying to crawl underneath my mat. It's like a tiny little beetle or something. All right, so choose a position with your legs that works best for the body. You can be an easy cross Sukhasana or your heel to heel alignment. I often change up how I sit with my legs just to work my body a little differently. Continue to pull in through the low belly so that we can lift up through the front of our spine and sit up nice and tall here. Extend those arms out from the shoulders, palms up. Give me a big breath in as we float the arms up to the ceiling. Turn those palms out and exhale, float the arms back down to the ground. Let's do that one more time. Just a seated centering breath. Inhale, big stretch. Exhale. Hold here. We'll go into our seated triangle pose. Inhale, right arm up. Now it's important to keep both of your sit bones anchored as you lean over to your left side. So I'm really pushing my right side down so that I can feel the stretch in my waist up through the rib cage. Let's hold this pose for a couple breaths today. So it's a lateral movement in this lateral plane. The head is a natural extension of the spine. There are two other elements that we can add. One is to bow slightly forward towards our opposite knee and reach the arm slightly forward. That will give you more of a stretch through the shoulder and the upper back. The other option is to roll your heart up towards the ceiling, pulling your top arm back behind you and taking your drishti up to the ceiling, and that will stretch the front of the chest. So you can explore that. Maybe you like just the side stretching better. We'll come back into the side stretch, so realign your spine. On the inhale, use your muscles to pull you up. Switch hands. Right hand comes down, left arm up. Now glue that left hip down as you slide across your invisible wall to the other side. And again, you'll feel this start to open through that waist, the rib cage, the shoulder. The other options, bowing forward, reaching slightly forward over the opposite knee, helping to release tightness in the upper back. Rolling heart open, looking up, pulling the shoulder back for the chest. Let's bring ourselves back into our lateral plane first. Then on the inhale, pull yourself up to center, reaching both arms up to the ceiling. We'll catch up here. And then we'll bring our palms to touch and exhale our hands to our center. So those of us sitting cross-legged, go ahead and switch up the cross of your legs. And we're going to take a seated twist here that will also hold a little bit longer. So you want to start with a nice long spine. Let the crown of the head lengthen upwards. Your shoulders and chin are just floating parallel to the floor. Let your right fingertips float behind you. If you're higher up, you might take a support underneath the hand. Remember, no leaning into that hand. Turn your left palm up to the ceiling and then slide it over your opposite knee. So the palm is facing up. And then I'm going to keep the head looking forward today. So keep looking towards your screen, but as you exhale, start to rotate the upper torso. So the shoulders, you can pull your muscles to draw yourself back. So the torso is continuing to twist to the right, head is gazing forward. And then even bigger twist for the neck, try to peek over your left shoulder. So the head is actually looking away from the body, and you can feel that nice counter twist in the spine. Take one more big breath in. And on the exhale, we'll release the twist. So you'll release your head and your body straight back forward. On the inhale, we'll float those arms up just to recenter. Exhale, palms down, float the fingertips to the floor. So your left fingertips will start to walk behind you, no weight. I'm sitting up tall. Turn your right palm up and then slide the back of the hand over the opposite knee. And continue to create that length. On the exhale, start to rotate the torso. So really feel the mid-back, upper back, the shoulders moving. You're drawing yourself into your twist. Head stays forward. And then to counter twist for the neck, peek over your right shoulder. And that will help stretch out the neck and the shoulders. Big breath in. On your exhale, release the twist. The head and the body unwind. Inhale, both arms up. Bring your palms to touch and exhale to center. So let's make our transition to tabletop, however you want to get there today. You can add your extra cushion for your knees. Remember, really splay your fingers as much as you can and let your hands be as broad as your shoulders, if not slightly wider. You can point the index fingers straight towards the front of your mat. There is a little bit of pressure down through the mound of the index finger and thumb to keep your hands rooted. The neck is long, head floating in line with the spine. Stack your knees right underneath the hips so that the thigh bones are vertical. Support the back with the belly. Try to flatten out the feet and have a little bit of space between your knees and your feet. On the inhale, relax your belly, gently taking a back bend as you lengthen from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone. As you exhale, scoop the tailbone under, look to your belly button and round the back up to the ceiling. Continue through a few more of your cats and your cows. You might find that one pose feels really yummy for our back today, so you're always welcome to hang out in one of these for a little bit longer, maybe add a little lateral movement, head and neck and shoulder hip movements. And then let's balance ourselves out and come into neutral position. Keep your hips level, extend your right leg straight back from the hip. Today we're going to squeeze the right side and hover the right leg parallel to the floor here. Toes pointing straight down. So this is going to work our abdominals a little bit more. Add the left arm. So the opposite arm will reach forward. Palm in, thumb up. So this pose is spinal integration. So it's a great way to tone and strengthen the muscles all the way across the back. The breath should be flowing smoothly. We're going to add an additional element today. Choose to stay here or on your inhale, open your right leg out to the right and your left arm out to the left if you have the space. And then when you exhale, you pull the leg and the arm back to center. So you're moving away from your midline. The inhale, the leg moves out and the arm opens out. Exhale, you pull it back. Try one more. Inhale, open out to the sides. You'll feel that in the side bodies. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, try to lift up a little bit higher in the arm and the leg. On the exhale, bring the hand and the knee down. Again, there should not be a big shift in your body. If you notice all of a sudden your hips really drop down when you drop your knee down, focus more on pulling in through the low belly. We'll take a couple cat-cows. Remember your options. You can be up on your fingertips, nice round knuckles driving into the ground, or make two strong fists punching your knuckles towards the ground. And then neutralize the spine before we do the other side and a couple of your cats and your cows. And then we'll come back to neutral, same thing. Really try to stabilize and level the hips. Extend the left leg back straight from the hip. And then squeeze your left side to hover that left leg parallel to the floor. And really keep that left foot active. Good. I can see some of you that looks nice alignment. Now add your right arm. Reach your right arm forward, palm in, thumb up. And this is a balancing pose in and of itself. So really pull in through that low belly. Choose to stay there, or on the inhale, left leg moves out to the left, right arm out to the right as far as you can. Exhale, squeeze to pull yourself back to center. The challenge is to keep the leg parallel to the floor. Exhale back. Let's try one more. Inhale, open out as far as you can. Exhale, bring the arm and the leg back. Inhale, lift a little higher. Exhale, let it go. Good job. Fingertips, fist for wrist. Take a gentle cat and cow to help bring the spine back to alignment. And let's come off our hands, sit back in our first child's pose here, opening the knees wider than the hips and touching the toes for wide child's pose. Drive the hips back towards those heels. Keep your hands wide and arms extended for more of a shoulder stretch. And then sink the belly, the heart, and the head to the ground. Remember, if your head doesn't easily touch the ground, we do want the head to feel some contact and support. So stack your fists under the forehead or add a prop there. And those of you that modify for your knees, keep your hips elevated and rest on your forearms so you don't have to sit as far back on those heels. And let's take a couple breaths here as we stretch out the lumbar spine, the area around those hips. On the inhale, float the head up and the body, realign so you're back in your tabletop position. And then walk those hands about 1 hand's distance forward, arms more 45. Tuck your toes under, pull low belly in, and we'll push ourselves away from the floor, floating those hips up, back, and down, downward facing dog. So going through just the basic principles of alignment and down dog, root down through the index finger and thumb, so there's internal rotation through the hands. Externally rotate the upper arm bones out and away from the ears. Draw from the shoulders down the side bodies to the sit bones. The neck is long, the head is floating. That low belly can gently round in. Take a deeper bend in your knees if you have a tight low back or hamstrings. Let the weight slide down the backs of the legs, all the way through the backs of the ankles into the heels, regardless if the heels touch or not. And you can pedal your heels a couple times if you want to deepen the stretch from one leg to the other, just bending the opposite knee here. And then let's pause in our inversion, head below the heart. Let that blood flow towards our brain and the heart. So we're going to articulate our body into plank pose today. So if you're not sure what I mean, you can kind of watch here. On the inhale, I want to roll through my whole body like a wave. So I lift my heels up first, and then I roll up through my hips, my low back, my mid back, my upper back. My head is the very last thing to extend forward. And we might have to wiggle our feet a little bit further back so that we're in alignment with our shoulders over our wrists. And then I'm going to roll back with an exhale. So I tuck my chin, poof up the upper back, roll through the spine, mid back, low back, hips, all the way back down the legs into the heels. On the inhale, roll forward, heels up, hips up, low back, mid back, upper back. Last thing, the head extends straight forward from the spine into plank. Exhale, tuck the chin, poof the upper back, Roll through the spine, good. All the way back to those hips, down the legs to the heels. Let's try one more with the breath. You should really feel this pose moving through all the muscles of the body. We'll meet at the end of this last exhale, back to downward facing dog. And then inhale, look forward, step, walk, feet to hands, hands to feet. And we'll give our hands a quick break here at Uttanasana or forward fold. Going into your fuller version, straight legs, dangling the arms, shaking out your wrists, nodding the head, ragdolling hands to elbows, or modifying elbows to thighs, or even coming higher up if you don't like to be upside down that long, okay? And then just kind of let the upper half of the body relax a little bit, but you should be super strong through your feet, your legs, your quads. We can start thinking about those lower locks or bandhas. So giving your pelvic floor muscles a little squeeze in and up. And again, the lower abdominal muscles. So just below the belly button, trying to activate those muscles. Let's do a little bit of strengthening for our back, our halfway lifts. So on the inhale, hands to shins or higher. Float your chest up and really actively squeeze the upper back. Good. On the exhale, fold it back down. Inhale, strengthens the upper back. Strong legs, pull your shoulder blades onto your back. Exhale, fold. Two more. Those of you that want to intensify it a little bit, I'm modifying mine so I have my hands up here, but we can bring those arms beside us in a locust pose, palms facing in. Exhale, lower. Last one, inhale, halfway lift. Lift the chest, crown of the head extends forward, locust arms if you want it. On the exhale, we're gonna sit back into Utkatasana and then float those arms forward and up. So let's make sure we check in with our alignment from the bottom to the top. Feet running parallel, toes pointing straight forward, knees pointing to the middle of the toes or the feet. Still continuing to pull in and up through those lower locks, but lengthening the tail towards the ground. Shrug your shoulders from your ears so the head is light and floating. We'll go into a little bit of balance, and you're welcome to keep the arms up in Utkatasana. This will challenge the balance in the core a little bit more, or hands to heart, your choice. And then we'll squeeze and lift and just float our right foot from the floor, see what happens. Bring it down, or trying to stay down in this lower posture, left foot lifts up. Bring it down. Let's all try to sink maybe a little further down. Next, inhale, press into the ground, straighten the legs, and reach straight up towards the ceiling. You can just bring the drishti slightly upwards for a gentle back bend. Turn your palms out and exhale, arms to Tadasana. Extending the fingertips from the shoulders. Head floating. Feel nice and strong around your waist and your abdominals. Lengthening all the way through that inner thigh down to the inner ankle. Pick up those toes, feel nice and connected through the mount of the big toe inner heel, mount of the pinky toe outer heel, and then that nice strengthening up from the outer ankle to the hip, compacting the hips towards each other. Nice deep breath in. And exhale, relax. So let's go ahead and grab our straps or scarves so we can get that big chest pose in. So if you don't have a yoga strap, anything that's long enough that you can apply tension to would work. So focus is here, but it doesn't mean that we forget about our focus down below. So you want to keep your legs in a nice strong Tadasana without hyperextending through the knees. So straight but strong, and stay really in contact here, pulling front body to back body. Nice wide grip to start. Also remember, when one shoulder says that's enough, that's enough. Don't force or strain the body. So add tension on our inhales. We'll float it up to whatever degree is comfortable. And then on the exhale, you'll bring it back down. And just try to go nice and smooth with the breath. And when we lift up, again, continue to pull your low ribs in. Try not to hyperextend and thrust your ribs forward. As those muscles start to stretch, we can take it a little further back for more of a chest stretch. So this posture really helps improve our shoulder mobility. So if you've ever had a shoulder injury or frozen shoulder, you just got to take your time though, not force it. So you might come all the way down behind you and draw that circle all the way up and overhead. So the next time that strap comes overhead, that's where we'll all catch up. Both legs strongly rooted, low belly in, Ardha Chandrasana. As you exhale, lean over to your right, so you're contracting your right side to stretch out the left. Inhale, pull yourself up. Exhale, same thing. Squeeze your left side to stretch out the right. Let your head just follow the line of your spine. Inhale up. Let's take it to each side one more time. Big stretch, making a crescent moon shape. And one more time, up and over to our left. Big stretch. And then inhale, float it up. Today we're gonna add the upper body twist. So I really want you to work the abdominals. Try to keep your knees and your hips facing straight forward. So on my exhale, I'm rotating through the upper back and shoulders. This time, let the head and eyeballs follow. Inhale, bring it back to center. Exhale, other side. So feet are strong. Pick up your toes if you lose it. The head can follow. We're working more of the shoulder area and upper back. We'll do that one more time to each side. The exhale takes you into your twist. Inhaling, one more time, other side. The inhale meets us back to center, finding that biggest stretch you can get for your chest today, going as far as you want, but keep your tailbone rooted. Pull in those lower ribs. Let the head relax on the shoulders. Give me one more big breath in. And then exhale, release. Good job. Put your strap down. Give your hands a little shake. Noodle your arms a little bit side to side here. So we're going to do that funky star pose again today, which is another balancing pose. I think we did it the other day. Of course, you can take whatever version feels best for you. So we'll come back into a Tadasana position. Maybe the feet are a little wider than normal. That's okay. On the inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And then lean to your right. So I am leaning and then I'm pushing down through my right side. My left heel should be off the floor and I'm going to try to lift and lower my toes a couple times. And then flexing the left foot, trying to get it into a hover, starting to use these side body muscles, your obliques, your abductors to lift the leg a little higher. And then both arms move to the right. So I'm making this diagonal plane in my body and I'm going to try to cross my midline. So big exhale, pull the knee up and over and your elbows cross to the other side of the body. And then as you inhale, you re-extend out. You can touch the toes or stay in your hover. Strong exhale, squeeze. You'll feel that in your left side. Inhale. Big squeeze. This is a challenging pose because we're crossing that midline. We're trying to balance. Big breath in. Let's do one more exhale. Good job. One more inhale. Try to hold it. Open your arms out wide. Traditional star pose, Tadasana. Just floating on that leg. Big breath in. Here's the biggest challenge. Exhale, land softly. Go right into Tadasana. No fidgeting or fussing. Try to keep yourself centered, focused, and balanced. Good. Inhale, arms up. Lean to the left. Left side pushes through the ground so the right side can get lighter. Lift and lower the toes. Flexing the foot, using more of the muscles of the side body to try to lift the leg a little higher. Both arms move over to the left. So I'm forming my diagonal. The exhale, super strong. Knee comes up and over the body. Elbows pull to the opposite side. Inhale, try to stretch it back out. And if we come out of the pose, no big deal. We just come back to it. The breath will really help. Big exhale to squeeze. Good. One more big exhale. Good job. Just come back to it. Inhale, reach it out. Open it up into star pose. Do a little flutter here to see how it feels. Big breath in. Exhale, land as softly as we can right to Tadasana. And then we're just observing the effects of the pose on our body, our breath, and our brain. Big breath in. And exhale, soften. All right, so we might need to make some adjustment here as we move on our mat. So I'll just tell you where we're going because I want to give you an option. I'm going to take us from down dog into pigeon pose. If you do not practice pigeon pose because of your knees, you will come onto your back and do your figure four where one foot is actively flexed to protect the knee, one knee is open. You pull the opposite leg in and you can hold behind the thigh and you can stretch here. And then that way you get the hip stretch without putting pressure on the knee. So knee people on your back doing your figure four pose. The rest of us will come back up to Tadasana for a moment. Just stand nice and tall and we can do a transition through down dog. So on the inhale, reach those arms up, extending them. Give your whole body a big stretch. Exhale, micro bend those knees. Hinge from the hips and swan dive back to our forward fold for a moment, just to let your neck and shoulders get another opportunity to release. Strong feet, strong legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plants the hands, and we'll step back to down dog. So nice big step back. Float your hips up, back, and down. Take a breath here. On the inhale, float the right leg up. As you exhale, we're pulling our right knee forward. Now we have to angle that right knee out behind the right wrist to the long edge of the yoga mat. So your right thigh bone is out at an angle, maybe 15, 20 degrees or so. And then you can wiggle your left foot back a little bit, coming down onto that left knee, pointing through the left foot. And I want my hips to be squaring towards the ground. You can also take a pillow or your yoga block under your right hip. If this is too much on that knee, go onto your back. You bend the knee, cross one ankle over the opposite thigh, and you'll get your hip stretch there. Those of us that want to take it a little further, we can come onto our elbows, continue to relax the belly, the heart, and the head towards the ground. So we're trying to stretch out our right hip and right piriformis. Pigeon pose is great for tension in the hips, sciatic issues and problems. We're doing lots of walking and more running or jogging or whatever. We've got to do this pose. Really beneficial. If you have the space, bring the head down to the ground, arms all the way down to the ground. We will hold this pose for several breaths, a little bit longer. If you do feel like you need to come out of the pose, you're welcome to go back to down dog or child's pose. Otherwise, continue to let the body relax and release. Let's all take one more big cycle of breath in the pose. So that's a full deep breath in. And a full deep breath out. Let go of any tension and tightness. Exhale it out. To slowly come out of our prone pigeon, we'll float our head up, elbows, one hand at a time. Lift up through the chest, tuck your back toes under. You need to push the ground away from you to lift your back knee and come off the front knee first and then stretch the leg out. Some people like to roll around in the hip or stretch it out or walk your dog, whatever you need to do. Those of you that might be doing this pose on your back, you'll just uncross that knee. You can rock out on your back a little bit. And then when we move to the other side, you'll move to the other side. From down dog, inhale, left leg lifts up. Exhale, pulls the knee forward and out behind your left wrist towards the long edge of your yoga mat. So the left thigh bone is angling out 15, 20 degrees. Oh, my goodness, okay. I got lots of action on my desk today. I think my feral cat just caught a lizard. So we'll lower down to the right leg. And you want to make sure that you don't feel pressure in the knee, but in the hip. Use the support under that hip if you want it. And you're welcome to stay more upright, elbows, or come further down towards the ground. Now, one side can feel very different than the other. So if you have one side that's really tight, that is normal compared to the other. And the challenge is just focusing on the exhale and cleaning out any tension or tightness we might feel here. And again, we'll hold for several breaths. Try to let the hips equally sink towards the ground so that the low back stays level. Same with the shoulders. Try to let the upper body sink evenly towards the ground. One more breath. If we're on our bellies, very slowly, elbows, one hand at a time. Back toes tuck under, press into the ground to float your back knee up, and then lift off that left knee so that you can carefully stretch your leg back. You want to roll the leg out, float it up, or walk your dog, whatever feels best for your legs. And then from here, if you are on your back, you got to flip yourself back around because we're going to do one more plank today. And you get to choose if you want to do straight arm plank or forearm plank. If you want to come onto forearm plank, drop down to your elbows and weave all 10 fingers. Float your knees up to be parallel to the floor. Knees may drop down, but you still have to intensely pull up through that low belly. Mind where your head is in space. Look slightly forward. Smile. Do this with me. We got to do it together to get through it. We've already done 15 seconds. Let's try to do 20 seconds more. Push the ground away. Compact those hips. Strong legs, strong core. Feeling a little shaky is okay. Almost there. We're so close. Give me one more big breath. One more inhale. And exhale. Take your resting pose. Straight arms to down dog. Forearms you can lift back up or walk yourself back to child's pose. Again, just observe the effects that that pose has on the body, the breath, and our brain. We did 40 seconds from when I started talking, so slowly building up our time on our planks. My down dog people, inhale, lift your heels up as high as you can. And then we'll all drop down to our knees and catch up in child's pose. Another variation, the more traditional, is to keep the knees together. Slide your hands back to your feet and bow the head to the floor from there. But whatever feels best for the body. Hands under shoulders, tuck the chin, inhale, round it up, restacking the spine. And transitioning to our seat, shift your weight over to one hip and bring your feet out forward. So we'll do our transition to our back. We'll add those slow roll downs and sit-ups if you choose. Otherwise, walk yourself safely down onto your back, hang out there and wait for us. We want to do those slow sit-ups. The soles of the feet come to the ground, so the insides of my feet are touching, but I'm allowing the knees to fall open here, wider than my hips. And this is more of the articulation. I mean, I'm trying to move through each joint of my body. I'm not keeping my spine in neutral in doing these. I'm rolling and tucking, really scooping in through the front body. Fingertips reach forward. I'm gonna lean back into my low back, so my sacrum. And I'm gonna inhale and reach forward to come back up. Good. Exhale, scoop and tuck. Let's go a little further, so low back. And then inhale, pull yourself up. I'm rolling on a piece of clothing here. Okay, there you go. A little further, so low back, a little bit of the mid. Inhale, we gotta reach and pull ourselves up. A little further, so roll it down. Low, mid, tips of the shoulder blades. Inhale, really reach it back up. And at any time, you can stay down. Good job. Scoop and tuck. This time we're gonna bring the low back, mid back, the shoulders and the head. And then one more big reach. Ooh, those are hard today. And then this is the last roll down. Good job. Scoop and tuck. Nice and slow. Oh, once we come down this time, relax the head down. Reach the arms overhead. Straighten your legs back out, flexing the feet so that we're in our long body stretch. And let that stretch and open the belly here. And the exhale, float the arms down. Walk your shoulder blades under, walk your feet in. And then pull your knees up and in. Give yourself a little squeeze. So we'll do a couple more hip movements today. You can tell my hips are bothering me. So knees are open. They're not bothering me. They're just speaking to me gently today. So open your knees nice and wide. Reach between your legs and see if you can take a hold of your feet, bringing the soles of the feet to touch. So we're in Supta Baddha Konasana, reclining bound angle pose. We're trying to keep our low back on the ground. Spine is in neutral. And I'm gently drawing my heels towards the pubic bone, using my elbows as a little bit of an opener on my inner thighs. Continue to hold on to the toes and feet. Now open the soles of the feet to happy baby. The knees are going to continue to fall wide out towards the armpits. Another nice big hip stretch. A little rock side to side feels nice. Going back to the inner thigh, stretch out one leg to the side. Exhale, pull it back. Inhale, stretch out the other leg. You can lean to that side. Exhale it back. Continue side to side, one leg at a time. Or try to reopen into Supta Konasana, wide angle. Having that grip on the toes or the feet, or maybe having to move your hands is fine too. Now try to let go of the feet and legs. Hold them open with your muscles. Bring your arms down to the ground, palms down. On the exhale, you have to squeeze your inner thigh muscles. You're going to float your legs up, crossing one leg in front of the other. And then on the inhale, you're going to open your legs back out into your V. So another version of our yogi sit-ups. Exhale, bring the legs up, switch the cross. Inhale, open. Feet flexed or pointed, head in neutral. So this is a little bit more work for the hips, but it also gives them a stretch. And it works those lower abdominals, so you're still pulling that low belly in. 2 more, so 1 more to each side, switching the cross up, giving them a little squeeze as you cross the legs. Nice big open stretch. We'll meet 1 more time, open. Hands move to the inner thighs, roll your ankles, give those muscles a little massage. Exhale, squeeze both legs up, waterfall pose. Exhale, hug the knees into the body. Now squeeze your knees together, parallel your feet together. Reach the arms up from the shoulders, palms down. On our exhale, lower your knees to the right. Slide a prop underneath the legs if you need support. Right hand rests on top knee for more of a twist. Sink the left shoulder back down, the head turns to the left. And just like gravity, wring everything out here. Closing the eyes to help the body relax into the twist. And slowing down the breath as we come towards the end of our practice. The inhale brings the head and the knees back up. Go 1 knee at a time if that's better for the back. Need to readjust the hips before the other side, do so. Glue the knees and the feet together, parallel. Exhale, knees to the left. Left hand on top thigh to deepen the twist. Sinking the right shoulder down, turning the head to the right. Start to relax the muscles of the face, the jaw. Let the weight of the body sink into the ground. Inhale, breathing brings the head and knees back to neutral. Exhale, reach over your shin bones. Try to take hold of the opposite elbows. Nose floats up to the knees. We give our body a nice big squeeze. And we tell our backs how much we love them, our hips how much we love them, how much we love ourselves and our body. Big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Dropping the head down, flopping the body towards the floor. So it's time to get comfortable. You're more than welcome to go anywhere, obviously, that feels best for you. If you want to go back to the chest opener and slide your blanket rolls underneath you, add your pillows as props underneath your legs, support the back of the head here. If you don't have an actual eye pillow, a folded up washcloth, towel, or scarf, giving your eyes some darkness really helps the body and mind calm down a little bit faster than normal. So I'll give us a moment to get comfortable and get all of our props in place. I'll verbally guide us through a little bit of concentrated relaxation. Then we'll take several moments to simply be and breathe. No doing, just being. And then I'll bring us out with our singing bowl to finish class today. Loosen the clothing. Rock out the head, find the very back center of the skull. Poof the cheeks with air, wiggle out the mouth, tongue, and jaw. Arms just roll open beside the body, palms up, letting the fingertips naturally relax. Lengthen out that low back. Allow the weight of the legs to roll open, feet flop open. Notice all the contact points that your body is making with the ground. And relax those points 10% more. Relaxing every muscle, every bone in the body. Allowing a quality of heaviness come over the whole body. Let the abdomen gently rise and fall with each breath. The breath is easy, quiet, peaceful. If the mind wanders, gently bring it back to the rhythm of the breath. And for just one more moment of this morning, we give ourselves permission to let go, relax, and simply be and breathe. Slowly coming back to our breath. Breathing life back into the body, waking up the toes, wiggling the fingertips, rocking the head. Re-extending those arms overhead, stretching the whole body back out. Lengthening that right side, lengthening the left. Big breath in, spread the fingers and toes, whole body stretches. Exhale, float arms down, walk feet in. Hug those knees in to massage the back. Right arm falls beside the head, rolling over to our right. Pausing for a moment in their sleeping baby pose. Keeping the eyes soft or closed, press into the ground to bring the body back up. Revisit any comfortable seated pose in the body, and we'll finish with a couple more big breaths together. Sitting up tall through the crown of the head. Reach the arms out to the sides, palms up. Deep breath in to float those arms all the way up to the ceiling and to gather up everything we need for the rest of our day. Turn those palms out. Float those fingertips all the way back down to the floor and let go of all that other junk that we don't need today. And one more big breath in together. Reach it up. Palms touch. Exhaling, hands to heart, bowing the head humbly towards the heart to honor and thank ourselves, our bodies, each other, and thankful to anyone else who made it possible for us to practice our yoga together today. Join me in chanting the Om Shanti mantra if you like. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat. And again, I thank each and every one of you so much for continuing to support all of us as teachers, Austin Yoga Tree, supporting each other and our community. It really is making a huge difference in a lot of our lives. So really, 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 really appreciate all of you tuning in. Feel free to give me some feedback if you have any. I'll be back Wednesday evening at 6. It's next week, May. Anyway, we're going to be transitioning, so I'm going to start doing some different stuff in class, targeting a little bit more of the core. Let's see, today's the 26th. I know we got a little bit, but still.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
That was great.
Thank
You guys did great. I could see you in your boxes. I could see some of your alignment. I was like, awesome. Good job, Chaya and Nancy.
Thank you.
And
Thank
Julia,
you.
hi.
Great.